Oh, welcome, chaps. Thanks for coming on to talk to me about your publicity package for a new film. Okay, so do you want to just tell me a little bit about your trailer?
What about the plot, or?
Yeah, just what it's all about.
So our film is from the social realism genre, and it's based on a girl who goes through like normal teenage issues that normally circulate in the social realism genre, such as peer pressure, bullying, that kind of stuff, but we put our own little modern twist on it because the reason she's getting bullying is because of her out-of-school interest in YouTubing, so uploading videos to YouTube, like airing her thoughts, which is quite popular with the young audiences today.
Very topical. Okay, so what was your favourite element in your film, your trailer?
There's a particular scene we shot where Mona's sat in a classroom, and because most of our camera's positioned on her shoulder, so it's following her around, so it's more immersive, the viewer themselves. She sat at her desk, and we chose to blur out what would be the background for her to make it almost seems like she's slowly losing her focus with reality. And I just like the way that how well focused she is opposed to the really fuzzy background.
Right, so you've actually used filming techniques to communicate a particular thought in her head with the audience. So you're quite proud of that then?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you find inspiration from other films in any way?
Yeah. Because we already decided straight away that we wanted to do social realism genre, we looked a bit into it, and Fish Tank was the main film we drew inspiration from in terms of target audience, as like the protagonist was a female and she was going through like real life issues as well and was of a teenage stage of her life, so that they were like the main influences. But yeah, we just like researched lots of different trailers from the genre.
Okay, so any other films that you watched apart from Fish Tank?
There was one called Ill Manners. It's mainly focused around a drug dealer, so that didn't quite link in with the same topics, but there were like their outfits, for example, they were very average, so we took that aspect and we wanted to create an average looking character.
Another one we drew inspiration from that isn't quite parallel was This Is England, because it was quite to do with area, and that's also an important aspect of social realism, like the area. So we took inspiration on that with our school setting and home setting for our own film.
Right, so we're talking kind of council house setting, that kind of thing. Yeah, and tough school.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you collect your research from your target audience? You've got this target audience of teenagers, maybe teenage girls. So how did they influence you in what you produced?
So we wanted to use the method of triangulation. So we wanted some qualitative and quantitative questions, so that we could get for the quantitative ones, which we did through the element of questionnaire. We wanted something that could literally just data to compare, but then we wanted longer answers as well to get more of like a personal touch rather than that. So yeah, we asked teenage girls of around the age of 15, 16, 17, that kind of age.
You've got plenty of those about.
Yeah.
And what did they tell you?
It's like they really liked the modern concept of the YouTubing aspect, and they liked they felt like the character was likeable, relatable with her issues, like she wasn't like someone you felt disconnected to. There was like an element of empathy.
Okay, so you created a film which reflected their interests.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you use any information that you got from them to make any changes at all as you went along?
Well, it was from peer assessments and that as well. When we showed them our trailer, it was mainly more technical things, as like the sound. They wanted us to like turn the volume up in places as it was becoming a bit overpowered. But in terms of plot, they wanted to see a little bit more, as it was kind of a little bit similar. So we reshot some of the stuff to make it like give away a little bit more of the plot, but not too much, as it was a teaser trailer.
Yeah, so did you get a better reaction that time?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Excellent. So what about editing your trailer? How did you feel about that process?
Well, we decided to use Adobe Premiere, and at first it was a bit of a confusing experience because it was brand new technology. But I think we both agreed that it was really useful. Like they had lots of features, so we could easily import music, text, anything really that we wanted, and we found it really useful by the end.
Okay, so what about your poster and magazine? How did you think they tied in with your film? How did you make them come out?
Well, we looked at different posters, like for example, the poster Fish Tank featured the main character sat at a window and staring up, just to make it look dramatic. So we chose to incorporate that into our idea of having a side-on of our main character, quite a close-up from about her collarbones upward. So it kind of like really drew attention to her as a character, because we chose a solemn expression on her face. The viewer would be wondering why she's looking like that, and it made her like that. So it's kind of hoping to get their attention that way.
Yeah. And do you think you managed to make them all three tie together as a package? And how did you do that?
For example, like the tone, in the poster, the magazine and the trailer, it's all quite like neutral and a bit like, so like her facial expressions are all the same, the locations are all the same. In terms of like typography, it was all linked in, and colour schemes as well. Like, for example, we went for purple quite a bit because of the femininity aspect and because it kind of represents a high quality. And yeah, that was pretty much what we were going for, so it all tied in well.
Okay, so in order to produce this really high quality product, did you find new technology helpful?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did. For example, in our AS coursework last year, we used Serif, for example, and while it was helpful, we felt that Photoshop, which we used for the preliminary tasks, no, ancillary, sorry, and the main task, we found that it gave off, like, while it still had the same kind of functions, it gave off a much more high quality finish. So it looked a lot more impressive.
Right, so the process was the same, but the product was much better quality.
Yeah, so it was
right.
worth it.
So it wasn't a waste of time having learned Serif, but you were much happy with the...
Yeah, we gained some skills from our
quality.
work last year, definitely.
Right. Okay. So how do you feel about the project as a whole? Do you think it's come out well?
I think so, yeah. I think it's quite effective in the sense that, well, the way that they all tie in. So someone's easily recognising that they're all part of one thing, opposed to just random.
And your audience thought they were interesting. That's the important thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.